commitment from each of you. Be voluntary, but I can say that I have voted in every election since I became eligible. How many of you will join me? By the time you're my age, you'll also be able to make the claim that I have voted in every election since I became eligible. Okay? That's good. If you don't, by the way, I'm coming to look for you. I'll tell you another secret. Actually, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from UCLA, and I was in the Peace Corps in Costa Rica, like I said, for a couple of years. Went into law school at USC, and then was a Navy lawyer for about 4 years. After that, I was a federal prosecutor here in Los Angeles in the United States Attorney's Office. Thereafter, I was in the private sector. I was civil practice, basically, business litigation for about 5 years. And I was appointed to become a judge in the municipal court here in Santa Ana and Orange County, and then the Superior Court. I've been a trial court judge for about 25 years. I retired almost 3 years ago now, and I'm private mediation and arbitration. A little bit more about me. I was a former, what I call, drug warrior. That means, you know, I would prosecute drug cases, pretty much raised the way most people of my generation were, to equate heroin, for example, with bad, with evil, with prison. And heroin users as evil, and they deserve to be in prison, etc. Then I became a judge, and I started watching this, churning low-level drug offenders through the system for no good purpose, ruining people's lives, separating families from, parents from their children, filling up our prisons, and actually decided that, we know that using any of these mind-altering, sometimes addicting drugs can certainly be a dangerous thing to do. I've always kind of seen it as going one way and the wrong way and a one-way street. But trying to address these medical problems by arrest simply wasn't working. We were churning low-level drug offenders through the system. I'd also look and see the truth, which is that you could arrest and convict even big-time drug dealers. And does that mean that now heroin or cocaine is no longer available in Santa Ana or Aliso Viejo? No, it just meant that somebody else would see this as a job opportunity, and within about an hour and a half, they'd just be replaced. So I did something very unusual for a sitting trial court judge. A little more than 20 years ago, I actually held a press conference and said, our nation's drug policy is not working, and we simply have to put our heads together to come up with something better, and actually we can't do it any worse than we're doing now, so anything we'll do will be an improvement. Let me ask you a question. You are all under the age of 21 years of age. How many of you, tell the truth now, how many of you agree with me that it's easier for you to get marijuana if you want to than it is alcohol? Think about it. Why? Because the alcohol is regulated and controlled by the government, and the illegal drugs are controlled by illegal drug dealers, and they don't ask for ID, do they? I am now a drug dealer, and here's $20 worth of, a baggie of $20 worth of marijuana, and I'm about to sell this marijuana to you. You have a $20 bill in your hand. I'm just about to give it to you. And say, oh, may I see your ID? It doesn't happen. So, again, let's regulate and control marijuana. Not that I condone I've never used any form of illicit substance. You could legalize cocaine. You could bless it by every religious leader in town and dish it away in the street corner, and I'm still not going to jam cocaine up my nose. I mean, I have enough trouble with my cholesterol. I have to be careful what I put into my body. But if I wanted to, it would be easy to get. So let's recognize that fact and stop trying to incarcerate our way out of this. This is all by way of saying that I didn't know who Governor Gary Johnson was at all until 1999. When he, as the sitting governor of the state of New Mexico, actually held his own press conference. And he said he had conducted what he called his audit and determined that the war on drugs was simply not working, that we're churning low-level drug offenders through the system, ruining people's lives, all the rest of that. And actually he put in various changes so that he would work with people, hold them accountable for their actions, but not what they put into their bodies, and actually was able to change the state of New Mexico for the benefit. So soon he had a drug policy forum in New Mexico. I was invited to go speak, so I met him. And I learned that he really is a good man. He had no political benefit, no political constituency for doing this, but it was the right thing to do. He was courageous, so I started learning a little bit more about him. And I found out that by the time he left office in New Mexico, he was the governor from 1995 to 2003. He actually left the state with $1 billion surplus. When he took it over, there were several tens of millions of dollars in the hole. He actually repealed, vetoed more excessive spending bills than about 750, probably more than all other governors in the other 49 states combined. It was very financially responsible. People were forecasting, oh, you know, we're going to have rioting. Oh, we're going to have children starving to death. None of which, of course, happened. There was excessive spending, a lot of bureaucratic stuff. So I really started looking at this man and seeing, hey, this guy is pretty good. And then when he started running for president, I actually started calling him publicly the most qualified person to be president of the United States that I know of. And maybe I said it a few too many times because he asked me to be his running mate for vice president. Now what am I supposed to say? So I actually said, yes, I will do it on one condition, that we run to win. None of this moral victory stuff, none of this, oh, let's make a good showing, plan for the future, all of which is fine, but we're going to run to win. And he agreed. Then he told me something that is really, truly noteworthy. My jaw dropped when he said this voluntarily. He and I were on the phone. He said, Jim, throughout this election campaign, if you have different ideas than I do, feel free to discuss them publicly. But what does that say about the fellow? First of all, it says he has no ego that's going to get in the way. He wants to get the right information. He wants to act on the right information so that we can do the right thing for the right reason. I would submit to you that Barack Obama did not say that to Joe Biden. I'll also submit that Mitt Romney did not say that to Paul Ryan. It shows a lot of character. I think he is the most qualified person to be president of the United States that I know of. What is a libertarian? Honestly, I grew up being a lifelong Republican. I actually ran for Congress as a libertarian in as a Republican in 1998. And then the passage of the so-called Patriot Act just did me in. Patriot Act I saw then and now as a direct frontal attack on our civil liberties. Does not make us safer. And I could not be a part of any party, any group that would condone, much less assist, this direct frontal attack on our civil liberties. So I literally remember the transition. It took me about 9.5 seconds to determine that I'm a libertarian. And I'll be a libertarian for life, and so will Governor Gary Johnson. Well, what does that mean? What is a libertarian? To me, it genuinely means that, look, as an adult, we have one life to live, and we should be able to live our life like we choose. We should be able to live our life as we choose, as long as we do not harm other people as they live their lives as they choose. That's what a libertarian is. Liberty is in the word libertarian. What does that really translate? It means that, yes, we need government. And all this stuff, oh, libertarians don't believe in government, is silly. Not true. But we believe in smaller government, more local government, less intrusive government, as long as what? What is the main function of government? And that is basically to protect us. You know, to have a military. I don't think California should have its own military. I don't think California should have a treaty with Europe or with Italy. No, that's a federal issue. But there are some issues that should not be in the federal government. How many of you have read the Constitution of the United States of America? Not nearly enough. Look at it. It is the most brilliant document ever written by the hand of mankind. It's the culmination of the Enlightenment. It's an amazing thing that these founders actually put together. It's inspirational. It has checks and balances, such that no one person, no one group can really take control. That we have the ability to say, not so fast. You know, we have the judiciary telling the legislature, they're telling the Congress, and the Congress in control over the president, and the president in control over all of these. It's brilliantly done. It's cumbersome. But that, more than anything else, can ensure that we are protected from the government. Protected from the government. What are our protections? Well, the Constitution of the United States of America says, this is the supreme law of the land. However, we will delegate from this instrument, from this supreme law of the land Constitution, some powers to the federal government. You can do this, you can do that, you can set up a court system, you can set up a military, you can set up a national police force, you can coin a currency, and it lists the various things that they can do. However, then we have the Bill of Rights. And what are the Bill of Rights? Those are not for the government. Those are protect us from the government. Really important. Because if you get the government all powerful, what are they going to do? I promise you, every time they will take advantage of it, and they will continue to erode and control our lives. Ask the Soviet Union, ask Cuba, ask North Korea. It doesn't work, at least not for the people. So the Bill of Rights protections protect us from the government. Critically important. What is it that makes the United States special? Because it is special, in my opinion. Why is it that people all around the world love America? They love Americans in many sense. They don't like the American government for various reasons, and many times I don't either. But they love America. They dream about becoming a citizen of the United States of America. What is it that makes us special, different from Peru or Germany or Japan? And for me it is our freedoms, our liberties.